What's going on, y'all boys? Today we are installing this bad boy right here. This is a full exposed carbon steering wheel. Obviously we are going from the stock wheel right here. As you can see, this is going to be a major difference. I'm going to show you guys how to do it, walk you through the steps. So let's get straight into it and not waste no time. First steps first, you're going to head into the trunk. For the G30, the battery is in the trunk, so I'm going to grab a 10 mil. Take off this bolt. You don't have to take it off all the way. Just take it off till it's loose. Ready? I got it unscrewed. Once it's loose enough, flick it right off, put it down. Make sure it does not hit up here, just in case when you are working on the car you don't want it jumping back up. That's going to be for this side. You might have a secondary battery under the hood depending on your model. I don't, so we're going to move on to the inside and start taking off the OEM wheel. Going inside to the interior, we are going to have to release the airbag. So the first step is going to be finding an indent under the steering wheel. Mine is going to be right over here. As you can see, that's indent number 1. One right there. The hole is going to get poked like that. And then for the second indent, same thing. And then number 2, then you're going to stick your flat head up like this. Once you stick it up there, the airbag is going to slowly release. And then you pull it out and slowly unplug it. There we go. It did take me some tries because it is a weird spring mechanism, which I will show you guys. After you release the airbag, you are going to take that clip out first, right there. As you can see, that yellow one. After we take that yellow one, the the airbag is going to be released, and then we'll move on to the next step. Ready? I got the clip popped out. As you can see, I just put a screwdriver down in there and slowly pushed it out. For the spring mechanism that I was talking about, it is a little weird. So when you guys stick your screwdriver through the hole, as you can see, that's where it comes up. You can see right there. You're going to want to put it flat like this because it moves that spring. Can you see that spring? It moves like that. It's going to be a little rough. And it does come from both sides, so there is a spring there as well. So you're going to want to make sure you put it up like that and slowly pull back on it, and you'll hear it pop out. So once you have that, you are going to just want to pull these two out. These don't require a screwdriver or anything. Pull them straight out. Pull this one straight out as well. Then we're going to take a 16mm socket or impact. You can use any. I'm just going to use a socket with a wrench for me. You're going to want to, for me, I'm going to need an extender. Obviously, as you can see, I'm not going to be able to reach good. So I'm going to grab an extender, start unscrewing it, and then we're going to have to take the steering wheel and start replacing this stuff onto a new one. So once we finish that, we'll start replacing the stuff. Okay, I just broke the thread on it. So I'm just going to finish unscrewing it with my hands. Once we have this long bolt out, the steering wheel should come just straight off. Might take a little wiggle and pull. And then we are fully out. We're going to continue on to a new one. Ready, going into our steering wheel. First off, we're going to start with removing the paddle shifters because it's going to give us access to remove the trim. If you look closely, we are going to have 2 bolts at an angle right here, right behind this blue clip. So you're going to just slightly move this blue clip. And once you move that blue clip, you are going to have access to that T20 bolt. Once you take that bolt out, you're going to do the same thing. And then once we complete that step, we'll move on. After unscrewing these 2 T20s, as you can see, we are going to move on to the back. So the paddle shifters are not loose. You're going to have 2 more T20s, one right here, one right here. So simply just get those loose and then we'll move on. Alrighty, after you got 2 of those out, you're going to have one more down here. It's also a T20, so gently remove that one. Same steps. Okay, so that bolt is fully unscrewed. I'm going to leave it there for now. We're going to move on to the front. When you're at the front, you're going to have these 2 clips right here. So for these clips, you're actually just going to want to lightly push down on them. Lightly push down. And once they're pushed out, we can start slowly taking off this trim right here. For me, I could stick a flathead lightly in there, as you can see, and our trim is fully going to come out. If you do want to make this easier right away, you can take a small prying tool, and as you can see on our paddles, there is going to be a little hole right there. So for that little hole, as you can see, I can bring it up closer. This little hole, we're going to poke here, and once we poke hard enough, we can slide this out, and then we can fully remove our trim. Ready? So once you use your pick tool to poke the little holes right here, there's just a little tiny dots. You just have to keep poking at it, and then it'll come straight out. Once you get those out, you can just pull them out from the back easily like that. I'm gonna zoom out for this one. Same thing for this one. It's a little stuck, but yes, same thing. And then once you get this one out, you are gonna continue to take off the trim of the wheel. So that one's out, and then we'll continue to take off the trim. Ready for your trim, you're gonna take a flathead. When you have your flathead, you're gonna keep prying it open. As you can see, I pried mine open, and you're gonna go all from all sides because it might get stuck up here and up here. After we do get our trim out, there is gonna be motors here, so you're gonna wanna first take this red one right here. When you have that white one, you're just gonna plug it out and repeat the same thing for this motor right here holding this wheel, and for these clips right here on the end. So anything that you see holding, just unplug it and we'll continue on. It is a multi-step process. There's a lot of little clips. Most of these are just pull and play, so I'm just gonna continue with pulling them. I don't want to really show you guys because it's very simple. You just pull out any tabs that you see that are holding the wheel on. So you see anything like this, you would pull out, and then once we have this full trim out, we are gonna start taking this apart and putting it onto the new wheel. So once you've gotten everything unplugged, you are gonna have a ground cable that goes here. You're gonna unplug that. And then our last screw is going to be holding on to this last ground right here, as you can see. So it is also another T20. I'm going to grab from this side. So it might be a little rough, but unscrew that T20. And once this T20 is fully unscrewed, our trim is going to be loose because that's what this is holding by. So let's get this T20 out, and then this last trim piece out. That is it. Our trim is out. We're going to continue on. We still have motors here. That's going to go from this wheel onto the new wheel. So let's get disassembling. Once we have that trim off, we are going to have a motor right here. As you can see, the vibrator motor is going to be right there. Move this up. So motor is going to be a T20, I'm guessing. Yes, it is a T20, 2 bolts, one here, and then we're gonna have 3 T20 bolts to take off this metal piece right here. So let's unscrew all those and we'll put this to the side. The motor is out, like I said, 2 screws, we can put that to the side. Next we're gonna get these 3, we'll put that to the side as well. Okay, 3 bolts are out, put those to the side, and then this piece will come straight off. We are next gonna have to take off this trim piece right here. And then this back plate right here. So let's get those out. In order to take off this trim piece right here, we are going to have 4 T20s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take those all out, pop it out, and then we'll move on to this plate, which will pop it out. It's out. This is going to just pop straight up, just like that. And we are out on this piece. Okay, for this blue piece on the back, we are going to need this as well, as you can see. What you're going to do is you're going to grab a flathead right here, and there is this piece right here. So while you're pushing down on it, slowly just pry it out. Push down, pry out each side, as you can see. There we go. Pry down. There we go. Let's repeat the steps for all. Once that is out, we are complete on departing the steering wheel. We're going to continue onto our new wheel and start assembling all this stuff out. Ready, so first things first, we do have our new wheel in place. We are going to take this old trim piece, slide it back in here, the same way we just took it out. There we go. So once it is in, we are going to take our 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, the T20s, screw them back in, and continue with the back piece. We got this front trim in right here. We are going to grab this piece right here. This is going to be facing this hole right here. So once we grab this, we're going to start poking these in slightly with the T20. It might be a little rough for you, but it'll go in eventually because these don't line up perfectly, so you're going to have to keep playing around with it. Alrighty, I finally got it in. Instead of using the Allen key or the T20, all I did was I took it from the front. I started aligning it from the back. I took my picking tool And let me zoom in so I can show you guys. As I was putting it in, I picked it from the bottom up, each single one of them, and I was successfully able to put it in all the way. As you can see, it stays, and then we can now finally move on to the next step. Our next step is going to be take this piece right here, this metal piece. Obviously, same as before. We first take the screws out. I'll line it up. You're going to have 3 holes, 3 G20s. Okay. Once it's aligned, put the screws in, tighten it up, and we'll continue on. Okay, as you can see, we got the 3 T20s screwed in. Our next part is going to be grabbing the little motor. This little motor, take the bolts out, and slowly just stick it in place here. If it's perfect, same thing, 2 T20s, screw one here, and we'll continue on. Okay, as you can see, I got the motor screwed on. The next step is you can put this wheel to the side if you are gonna be transferring. So I'm gonna put this here for now. For me, I'm gonna have to transfer all these buttons and whatever heaters they are onto my new carbon frame. So I'm gonna do this all off camera because this is just simple steps. As you can see, it's 2 bolts here. It's all the same throughout the whole process. 2 bolts, 2 bolts, 1 on each side. As you can see, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. You're not gonna unscrew nothing because you're just putting this straight back in there. So once we get this unscrewed, I'm gonna screw it back on there, and then we'll continue on with the wheel. Alrighty, YouTube, as you can see, I just transferred my model from the OEM one to this one, to the carbon one. I did have a problem here. This was not cut out, and I didn't notice for the buttons. It is cut out now. So undo it so it's fully good. We are gonna start assembling this back into the wheel. So I'm just gonna clip these clips back into where they were, connect the wires, the ground wires, and then we're gonna plug it all together, and I'll show you the final results. I finally got the wheel back together. As you can see, it did take some time, like I said, because of this, the cutting I had to do, cutting on this side. Some stuff wasn't fitting properly, so I had to make custom cuttings, but the wheel is finally back together. We are gonna go install this back in the car, and then I'll show you guys how it looks. I did get magnetic carbon paddles, so they are not the stock ones or the ones that came with the wheel. These are full magnetic, as you can see. All right, let's go install it. Here is the final results. So this is the wheel right here. As you can see, carbon magnetic metals, everything functions. It did take me a little bit longer than expected because the cutouts had work, so everything did take some time to put together, but we finally got it all together. The wheel's in good condition. Everything came out how it's supposed to be. Couldn't be more happy. This was the cheapest buy and the best buy I've done. We're gonna have a few more installation videos upcoming, but this one's it for this one. Thank you for watching, guys.